Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday. Another day, another dollar, I always say. So, found a new site to do some chord training on, and we can actually do chord progressions here, and that's great. So, looks like we've got some good classical and jazz progressions. I'm going to start with the jazz because one of my personal reasons for doing this ear training was I realized that I wasn't able to hear the jazz chords quite as well as I'd want to. Like, my ideal outcome from doing this ear training is to basically be able to hear a chord progression of jazz music going on while I'm listening to it, which I can sometimes do now, a lot better than before I ever learned jazz theory, but not nearly as well as I'd want to. So, so we're going to do this. And they give us a whole bunch of different types of chords they're going to be playing. 2-5-1s, secondary dominants, I guess some chord progressions from jazz standards that are apparently kind of basic, and then chromatic and tritone substitution progressions. We're going to do them in all keys, major and minor. And I don't want to know the first chord or what the key is, and we're going to figure that out by playing on the keyboard. And we're going to play the chords pretty slow for starters. And again, we're going to start off, as you can see, with pretty much one of the more as complicated harmonies as possible, not necessarily as fast as possible. And we're going to go again for accuracy over speed. So let's see how we do on this one. Don't need this ad here. And the time is 7:34. So, but the time actually showed up here too. So we can go off at this time and go for 20 minutes. Let's do that again since I was distracted. So that just sounds like a 2-5-1 and another 2-5-1, where the second 2-5-1 was the minor, the 2 here was the minor version of whatever this chord was. So let's see what that is. Is that an E flat? No, it's a D. So the way I do it is I click here and I insert this chord, then I press OK, and it tells me if this chord is right or wrong. So this was a D minor 7. This was a G7, a 2-5-1. Major 7. And one thing I like about this side is that all its options they seem a lot less ambiguous, but also compared to the last site, there's less options. So in a sense, the chords are easier, but it's a little more natural to try to basically do ear training this way in a context more similar to reality. Real music, I should say. F7. B flat major 7. Even though this was like way too basic to be in a real song. Okay. We got that one. I like this. You can also hear the chords separately, so let's try to do the first part. That sounds like a 1 to a flat 7 to a 1. Bum, 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 bum. Maybe not. And since we already did chord identification, basically isolated, I'd like to not have to repeat this a bunch of times to figure out what it is. I'd like to do it in the actual harmony. So let's at least first figure out what, yeah, it's a G. Yeah. Alright, well let's enter these in for now. Again, I want to go for accuracy, so we'll go back to this. Okay. Well, I think this is the 4 of this. Yeah. And this is just a 2-5-1 to the 4. So that would make this C major, and that would make this D minor. G7. C minor. And this is also in C, I noticed. Bum, bum, bum. And I'm pretty sure it's minor major 7. Yep. And the way I knew that is because at first, whenever I heard minor major 7 chord, I thought it sounded really ugly, but this is actually how you use it in context to make it sound normal, quote unquote, because it's C minor major 7. The weird thing about it is the major 7, which is a B natural, but when you resolve it to the G, that B natural is the 3rd. So it sounds, when you're in G major, having the B natural in there is diatonic, and the minor basically means there's an E flat here, which is the flat 6 resolving to the D in G major. So it's basically, it's already a chord progression I've heard a lot at this point in time for me, so that's the only way I knew it. You can hear the 3rd in there. So now about this one. I'm pretty sure that's just an F major 7. It sounds pretty weird though. Yep, awesome. It's a minor. Alright, that's a long one. We're going to break that up. That's G, I think. Yeah, G minor 7. So just to get our first note, our first chord in there. So that's a 2-5 of the 5 of G minor. And I heard that because for some reason the bass is easy to hear here. Bum, bum. And this is the clear 2/5 sound, so that would be an E in the 2/5 in a minor key is a minor 7 flat 5. And this is just an A7. And this is the 5 of the A7, but it's also dominant. And this is the same root, but minor. So this would be a D7. And this would be a D minor 7. And this is again a 5 from the D minor 7. Another 5, but this one's minor. And this is just another 2/5/1 back to G minor. Cool. From the looks of it, it's important to be able to hear going from a minor 7 to the third below it, minor third below it in the minor 7 flat 5. So for instance, the G minor to the E minor 7 flat 5, or here the C minor 7 to the A minor 7 flat 5 is something that's good to be able to know. Interesting. Okay, so the first one is, let's call it D flat major 7. And they're really being nice about the bass line here, and that really helps us out. I wonder if there was somewhere to add inversions, but you can really hear it go. And then you just need to know that it's diatonic, or just hear the chord qualities. It's B flat minor 7. This would be G flat major 7. Going back to the 2/5/1 into D flat major 7. Okay. You hear the 2/5/1 here, but then it's also got, this is the tritone substitution for the 5, so it'd be the flat 2, 7 basically. That's what you might call it. So let's hear this. E flat, so F minor 7, C7, E. I don't know if you would call that E or an F flat. Probably an F flat is what you would call it because it's the 2, not the 1. Really? Oh, whoops, I just entered it wrong. It's just a 2-5. I was thinking an F major for some reason. And then this was E7, or F flat 7. E flat major 7. Alright. Oops. So I'm getting this pretty easily when I'm breaking it up, so I'm going to try to do it only by listening to it all at once. Except for the one that I need to derive the root from, which is here, a G minor major 7. So it ends with a 2-5-1. Okay, and then this is the 2 of the 5 in minor 7 flat 5 form. I think it's all 5 1s. So this is a D7. Which would make this a minor 7 flat 5. I think this is actually a B flat major 7. No, that's definitely wrong. Okay, I can't do it. I need to listen to this separately. Actually, I think this is an E major 7. No? E flat major 7. Okay, that's interesting. Or what is it? I hear it now. This is a 5-1 to B flat, which is a relative major of G minor. So B flat would be F7. The 5 would be F7. No? Is this not B flat major 7? Oh, there's no 7 in there maybe? I don't believe you, it's an F7. Oh, I must have just entered it wrong. Okay. Well, I definitely heard, so I was thinking there was a 4, major 4 in there somewhere. I guess that was the B flat to the E flat. But I was having trouble going from this chord to this chord, because I guess it's a tritone off. I wasn't expecting that. Interesting. Let's hear it again. Oh, you know what this is? This is a tritone substitution of this, right? Well, it's just sort of a flat 2 to 5 to a 1, so that's how it works. It's like a 2-5-1 off of D somehow. Yeah, that makes sense. So when you mess things up, it's good to go back and hear it a few times to hear what it sounds like. Cool. And this is obviously a very generous score they're giving to me, which basically means I'd never give up, but I definitely didn't do this good. And I think I really liked this exercise, and that's 20 minutes, so we'll stop. My one complaint is that there's not different qualities of the 7th chord, which is kind of good for starters, but you very rarely hear this actual dominant sound in jazz. You hear 7 flat 9s, you'll hear altereds, other versions of it in here. And I'd like to get that somewhere else, but we'll continue on this side for the rest of the week because I have some improvement to do, and I'd like to be able to do it all without having to hear the chords isolated. I'd like to be able to do it all just by hearing the entire progression at once. So that's it for today. Have a good rest of your day, and